Hello, welcome back to the podcast. We're here with Victoria and, of course, Janelle. We are here to talk today about FMNs or financial media networks. Victoria,
Yes.
fill us in. What are FMNs?
So FMNs, or as you mentioned, financial media networks. So they're basically financial institutions that are sort of offering their own ad networks. So they've got a really rich set of customer data. They can really see, across customer spending. So definitely very valuable for advertisers. So if anybody's familiar with retail media networks, it's a very similar context, very similar offering, except for it's from financial institutions like banks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's the benefit of this compared to like a retail media network for, I don't know, your average advertiser?
Yeah, so maybe someone like an Amazon or someone like a Walmart, whatever it is, like they can see a small little slice of what you're spending within their space, right? So if you buy in
Hmm.
Walmart, they can see all of that data. However, they don't know what you're buying at the gas station. They don't know how you're paying your bills, right? They don't know what you're doing really outside of their little purview. But the big advantage is that financial institutions can see across all of your spending, right? So wherever you tap your card, it shows up, they have that piece of data, so they can really analyze kind of how you're spending. So this is incredibly valued, this really de-siloed data, and it's definitely more comprehensive than what the retail media offering looks like. And especially with the kind of, I know we've mentioned it a bunch of times on our blogs, across podcasts, the fast depreciating third-party cookie, the cookie, death of the cookie that will happen maybe eventually someday. This first party data is going to become gold. Like this is the next kind of data gold rush as I see it in our industry. So this is going to, I think, be a really big opportunity for marketers.
Wow. Why do you think it's taken so long to get here? I mean, are there risks involved?
Yeah, there are some risks. I wouldn't even say we're here yet. There are a couple
Okay.
of financial organizations that already have opened this up. So, for example, Chase opened their media solutions offering, PayPal, and then outside of the US, Revolut is sort of TBD. They're in the UK. They're looking to start this as well. And Berceau Bank in France has a kind of brand solutions offering. So there's a limited amount of companies that are sort of doing this. There's more to come for sure. However, like you mentioned, there are a lot of risks. Firstly, the biggest question I would say is privacy, right? So because we have
Mm.
access to such a rich data set and potentially pretty sensitive, there could be, the potential for really stringent regulation that could, basically clamp this whole thing down. So transparency and customer control is really going to be the key if financial institutions really want to roll out this offering in a kind of a way that they might be able to sustain it, right? They're not going to get clamped down by some privacy legislative body. The other sort of risk with this is even though the data set is super rich, there's not a whole lot of attention and eyeballs. Like think about how long you spend on your banking apps. It's mostly just to check that you're not overdrawn or whatever it is, right? And then you're out. So the eyeballs are not really there like as they are on maybe YouTube, TikTok, whatever, or even sort of a
Mm.
retail site where you are, spending a lot of time comparing, shopping, browsing in between, right? You're not really spending a whole bunch of time on your banking app. So although the data set is there and it's super rich, the eyeballs are not. So even if they wanted to share the data, right? Like there could be so much risk in sort of the privacy element of this, like it's not super feasible. Yeah.
I think that for me, one of the things that I keep coming back to is how consumers are going to respond to this. Because, like, you walk into a bank, you talk with a teller, like, it feels very private, like something that you don't necessarily want to share out and broadcast with the world. And I don't know, like, again, putting on my consumer hat, if I was getting ads that were very heavily personalized by my bank within my banking app, I might start to question things. Um, so I don't know, Victoria, if you've got a point of view on, what types of ads are effective here, or what type of advertisers would see the most potential benefit from these types of placements.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Janelle. And even just coming from, our own personal points of view, we definitely don't want to be kind of creeped on by our financial institutions for the sake of the ad dollar, correct? So I do think that is sort of the biggest kind of fine line that advertisers have to play.
Hmm.
I think it's what also additionally makes this challenging is this is a fairly new offering in the market. So there's not a whole lot of research or really a lot out there to say like we found the perfect formula for how to advertise without looking like a total creep. So it is a little bit tough. I will say that I always think of privacy. It's not an obstacle, it's an opportunity. So it's an opportunity to show your customers respect, and to honor how they would like to be treated. So I think the big thing that these financial media networks are going to have to do is be very transparent with their customers and provide them really clear opt-in and opt-out options for this, so that they have control over that. I think that's the biggest thing. As long as advertisers and financial media networks are transparent, I think that will be sort of the key to keeping this in balance.
Yeah. I don't know. If we ever get to a world where Chase asks me to pay extra for an ad-free experience, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
That level of rage, yeah.
I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to pay for it because
Yup.
nothing against advertising, of course.
Yes,
but
dollars under the mattress. We're going back to the old days. Yeah,
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. I really do wonder if they will provide that kind of privacy transparency, because the retail media networks of the world certainly have not. And I know it's a limited data set there, but it's definitely predicting your behavior. So I'll be curious to see what the banks end up going for.
I mean, this might be a bit of a, just sort of a hot take and my own personal view on this, of course. I could be absolutely wrong. But I think maybe financial institutions might be in a better place for this sort of offering because they're so used to this really heavy regulation, and they have that more of that infrastructure where retailers are more so the Wild West. So I think there is an opportunity for financial institutions to do this well, and to make sure that they're careful about, privacy and respecting laws and things like this, whereas I think retailers care a little bit less. Not, no hate, but I do think that they are definitely more, let's say, compliant already, and a little bit more nervous about what might come down on them, because that is incredibly sensitive data. Whereas like what you buy at Walmart, I'm not sure that Walmart cares.
I don't know. I keep going back to the idea that, like, if I walk into the mall, I expect to be sold advertisements to buy things. If I sign online to Amazon, I expect to see advertisements to buy things. And I'm really struggling with the idea of ads on my banking app. Like, are they going to offer me a toaster if I click so many ads? Like, I don't see what the benefit is. And I really struggle with this one.
Yeah.
What I'm more mystified by is you going into malls and to bank tellers, Janelle. Like, we're in a digital agency. That's very surprising to me.
Janelle, you work in a lot of privacy. I'm actually not baffled by that behavior. I expect that from you.
The more you know, the more you know.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I totally hear you on this, Janelle. I think it is going to be a little bit of a tough sell. I know that there have been some initial case studies. For example, Chase ran a sort of a case study with Air Canada that basically yielded a huge incremental impact. It earned them $2.3 million in incremental sales, which is massive, right? So
wow.
There is potential. The market is looking very bullish on this for investment. It's supposed to basically get up to 1.5 billion by 2026, so next year, and it's supposed to be massive. So I think I that's the predictions. Whether or not how consumers react, I think, is very much still to be seen. But I definitely see your point that this might be a little bit worrying to see advertisements into your bank. For example, if you spend $30 at, Whataburger, and you see 10% off for Whataburger next time, like, what are you going to think? Are you going to be like, great, I shop there all the time, I want 10% off, give me the cheeseburger? Or are you going to be like, I hate this?
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it goes back to, is this useful? Are they giving me things that I can use? And that's what would make an ad effective, when I can use it. And I think advertisers just need to think about, when people are browsing on their banking app, are these the things that do they have something to offer that consumers want in that moment, and how can they be helpful in that moment?
Yep.
100% agreed on that. Yeah.
Well, any closing thoughts about these financial media networks? I think we've got some great predictions here, and we'll see what actually happens.
Yeah. I guess if anybody running these programs is listening, please be respectful of your clients, of your consumers, your customers. Please be transparent and open about what this data is being used for. And as Janelle said, try and be helpful. Try and be helpful in the right moment. Don't be pushy or creepy. But again, fine line.
Don't be creepy.
Don't be a
on that
creep
note.
in general. In general, solid
Do my
advice.
best.
Yeah.
I feel like most of our podcasts end on that note. So
100%.
we'll wrap it up there. Thank you, Victoria, so much
Thank
for
you.
all your insight. Thank you, Janelle. And we'll be back again soon.
All right. Cheers. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Victoria.
Bye.